Okay, good stuff. So a lovely core workout that I have got planned for you today. Midweek, hump day, let's get moving. We've used the arms a lot on Monday, so I hope you were feeling strong and had a good amount of ache going on after that. So we're going to start off with a warm-up, and today's sessions are more going to focus in on the core, but I can't promise that there's not going to be any squats and lunges as well. You know me. Okay, starting with these lovely big shoulder rolls, just in your own time, just going around in both directions as big as you can. So really shrugging them forwards and backwards so that we're opening up the front of the chest as well. And then we'll get the arms involved. I do always tend to start up the warm-ups with these ones because they're just such a good way of loosening everything up and opening up, which is always good. So again, both directions that we're coming around in, and then we're going to bring palms together. So you're squeezing your palms together, away and pulse. So your chest comes out for this one, and we're just squeezing those shoulder blades together. Keep a bit of tension through your core and through your glutes. Try, it's difficult with this one, not to get the tension in your neck though. If you feel that the neck is feeling a bit tight, just bring the chin up and down a little bit and actually help relax it off. So you're squeezing, squeezing, squeezing here for 2 and 1, and then back together, down and roll through. Palms are facing down this time, and again we're just pulsing here. So just coming out to shoulder height, but making sure that those shoulders aren't creeping up towards the ears. And we're pulsing again with that tension through the core and through the glutes. So not going particularly far, just coming up. You might be feeling this if you did go and pick up some heavy weights for Monday session. 3, 2, and 1. Down, roll the shoulders back. We're going to come into some lovely torso sweeps or torso bends with the arm sweep. So down from side to side, keeping those hips facing forwards. Lovely. So as far as you can reach. Down, don't forget you can drive that opposite elbow up. You all know what you're doing here. Keeping on, reaching down and across. We'll do 1 more on each side. 1 and 1. Let's get the legs involved. We're going to squat down and extend those arms. We're just going to hold it for a moment and then come back up again. So you're reaching those arms as far forward as you can and sitting back as deeply as you can. Hold and back up again. We're going to do 2 more of those. So extend, hold, and return. Final one. Really try and reach forwards because you should get a nice little stretch through the back of your shoulders if you're really extending those arms. And back up again. Okay, we're just going to open up the hips with those lovely hip openers. Either standing on one leg, or you can touch the toe back down in between if you're feeling a little bit wobbly. So stay just on one side for now as we work through any little clinks and creaks. And then we're going to switch on to the other side. So again, don't forget you can tap that toe down in between if you need to, it's not a problem. Going around. Lovely one, this one, for just opening up those hip flexors. 2 and 1. We're going to come into a static lunge. So you're just going to bring one leg forward. Both toes are facing forwards. I think I'm a little bit cut off at the screen there. And then we're going to extend up. As you extend your arms, you're going to push those hips forward a little bit. You should get a stretch. Again, down through those hip flexors and into the top of your thigh. on the back leg. Hold it here. And then switching sides. So you should feel the stretch through here. You might also feel it in your calves a little bit if you're a little bit tight through your calves. But again, extend that stretch with the arms. And then just hold. Okay, returning. We're going to go out to the side. Again, we're just holding. So you can bring your legs, have a little play around, see how far you can lean into it. You can either just stay or you can add in a little pulse if you want to. You should feel that stretch through the inner thigh. Obviously, the further you step away, the more of a stretch you're going to get, but make sure that you can get back up again. Make sure that your mat's not going to slip. We don't want anyone ending up doing the splits. 2, 1, and then you can literally just lean across onto the other side. So my toes are at a slight angle here, they're not facing forwards, but my hips are, chest is out, shoulders are down. Feels nice. 2, and 1. Okay, you can walk those feet back in together. Final little one for our warm-up. We're just going to stretch out the front of the thighs. So again, if you need to hold on to something here, then absolutely do. You should get a nice stretch down the front of your thigh. Once you've got your balance, push those hips forward, increase the stretch. Make sure that your knees are close together as well, that you haven't got a leg out to the side there. Good stuff. And then switching over. Ooh. They have one side that's more wobbly than the other, so just find something to focus on if you're not holding on. Good. Hold it here, we'll give a good little stretch out, and then we'll get started with the main workout. As I said, it's all about the core today. Good. Okay, grab a drink if you need to. I'm going to grab a quick drink here. I'm just going to do that. It's a bit dark and dreary today, isn't it? What is going on? Okay, standing core work to start off with. So the first one we're going to do, I think we did this a couple of weeks ago, is the elbow to knee. Okay, so first of all, we're coming in front of the body, elbow to knee. So there's a little bit of a crunch action there. Absolutely fine to do if you've got a diastasis. If you can't bring the elbow and knee to meet, that's fine. Just bring them to whatever level you can. If you can, add in a little bit more, then go for it. So we're just alternating, and you can go at whichever pace you like to. You can speed these up a little bit if you want to. Just go with what works for you. Good. So keeping on going. All the work that we're doing, even if we're not down on the floor, is going to be working those core muscles. So don't think that core work just has to be done on the mat, because it really doesn't. So keep going with these. Good. Whew. 5, 4, 3, and 2. Last little one. Even it out on both sides. Give the legs a little shake off, because obviously there was some other muscles that were being used then as well. Next, we're coming out. Stay on one side, it's easier than alternating for this one. Same principle. If you can't get them to meet, just come into this kind of puppet pose halfway. So imagining that you've got those puppet strings attached. Make sure that you're extending that arm up as you come up. Good. This one is more working those obliques. So this long set of muscles that run down your waist. Lovely. Keep going. 3, and 2, and 1. Give a little roll through if you need to. Opposite side, again, either part way or fully meeting. Go with what works for you. If you need to hold on to something for balance, then that's fine to start you off, but then try and let go, okay? because the core activation really comes in us using those muscles to balance. Good. Keep it going. Boom. 3 and 2 and 1. We're back into those crossovers straight away. Okay, if it's feeling a little bit much, then you can just bring it into high knees and use your hands to tap down. But let's see if we can get a little bit more going on. Whew. Good. If you've had a C-section and it feels like there's any kind of tugging around your scar area, then again, just don't bring your knees up quite as high. Okay, but still go through the motions. You're still using exactly the same muscles. Keep going. Whew. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we're out to the side again. Okay, just one side. And then we'll switch. You might be feeling this a little bit in your thighs now, or in your hips. Those muscles work to bring that leg up. Woo. Extend that arm at the top. Keep going. 2, 1. Roll shoulders through. Walk the legs through a little bit if you need to. We're coming out at the opposite side. Trying to stay upright. Good. Don't forget to breathe. Last little set of these. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. Walk it through. Okay, if you've got a band, you can use band for this one, just to help you extend your reach a little bit, but you don't need to, okay, if you haven't got one. Don't worry, or if you want to use a cord or a muslin or something, that works too. I'm going to use my band, folding it in half, and I'm basically coming up overhead into a bit of a rainbow arch. This should feel quite nice after those little side crunches that we did. We're pulsing here, and then coming across on the other side. So the band, if you pull the band down with that lower arm, just helps you to get a better stretch through your abdominals on the side there, through those obliques. Switching over again. Again, if you haven't got it, just lean as far as you can, but still get a good stretch. And switch over. 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. Roll it through. Okay, again, I'm going to show you without the band first, and then with the band if you've got one. Staying standing, we're going to go into our standing version of our Superman. So we're going to tip and hinge at the waist. One leg's going to come up behind us, and then opposite arm is going to extend out in front of us. You can hold it at this angle, or you can increase the intensity by leaning down and coming further. And we're just holding, okay? So find something to focus on. If you want to make it slightly harder and use your band, the band's going to come under your standing foot, and you're going to use the resistance of that band as you extend forward. So either or is fine, just concentrate on that balance. I'll put mine down for a second. Staying on the same leg. 3, 2, 1. You're returning. We're going to switch over, okay? So the opposite leg comes out behind us. Try it. See if you can lean a little bit further into it. The further you tip forward, the more you're working that core. Keep those core muscles engaged, okay? The belly button, back to spine. Feel strong through the abdominals. Hold it here. Smile. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly return. We're going to do that once more through. Okay, so switching sides again. Extending. Tipping forwards as far as you can. Tight through the abdominals. Once you've got your balance, you can start pulsing that back leg. Up and down. Up and down. Harder, right? I'm not going to turn and look at the screen because I know I'm going to wobble. I'm concentrating on a book that's been left on my rug. That's what I'm staring at. So don't look at me, look at whatever you need to. 3, 2, 1. Tipping up. Same on the other side. I'll try and do it in front so that I am looking at you now. So extend. Then come as far forwards as you can. Get your balance first. And then when you're feeling pretty confident with your balance, you're going to start pulsing that back leg. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Is your core still strong? Are you letting gravity take over? Or are you keeping those abdominals on? You might feel it in the glute of the leg that's standing. 3, 2, 1. Come back in. Let's just give those legs a little stretch out. Nicely done. And on the other side, grab a little drink if you need to. Even though this is slow, controlled movements, you're still feeling it, okay? You're still hopefully getting that heart rate up. So the next one we're going to come down into are going to be some roll downs onto our mat. So come to the end of your mat. You want fairly wide feet for this one, just for balance, so about shoulder width apart. You're going to roll those shoulders up towards your ears and then drop them down as your hands graze along your thighs. I just want you coming as far as you're comfortable with, okay? So if this is your stopping point, just stay here and hold it. You can roll down a little bit further whilst keeping those legs straight. Then do. And just hold it at the bottom here. And then really thinking about engaging that core as you roll back up. Up, 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 up. Tight abdominals. And roll through. We're doing that one again. So it's really about getting you to zone in here and think about what muscles you're using. Let that core do the work for you, okay? So zip up, belly button to spine, lift the rib cage as you come back up, slowly, 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 keep tight. Shoulder roll at the top, then you can relax the abdominals. Okay, final roll through. Shoulders to ears, dropping down, hands grazing your legs. Hold it here, wherever is your stopping place. And then really think about drawing that belly button in. Imagine I'm stood behind you, a bit of string attached to that belly button. I'm gently pulling it back, and that pulling motion is helping you roll back up to standing. Shoulder roll at the top. Okay, we're coming down onto the mats now. So if you need to move your screens, then do. You can roll down, all the way down, and then walk those hands forward. You're either going to drop to your knees and hold a plank, so keep those hips facing forwards, or if you're recovered, you can come up into a high plank and hold it here. We're going for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Down to the knees. Let's sink back into our nice recovery pose. Obviously, you're not going to be holding that high plank if you're newly postnatal, but if your muscles are up to the job, then feel free to go for it. If not, a kneeling plank is a really nice way of building back up that strength. Okay, pushing back up onto all fours. I'm just going to move my screen slightly and bring you down, in fact. Makes it a little bit easier for me than saves my neck craning up the whole time. Okay, so you're onto your all fours, and from here we're going to go straight back into those Superman poses that we did at the start as we were standing. So opposite arm, opposite leg are extended. A couple of options for you here now. You're either just holding, or again, if you've got no stomach muscle separation issues, you can add in that little crunch underneath. So elbow to knee. Make sure you're fully extending as you come up. If you're holding, just keep holding. Keep those abdominals strong. 3, 2, and 1. If you need to come back into your recovery, then absolutely do. If you're feeling good, you can switch over and start on the opposite side straight away. So extend. I always go leg first and then bring the arm up. So either holding, or you can add in that little elbow and knee crunch again if you've not got any diastasis. So hold. Good. Don't forget to breathe, okay? Just because you're holding the pose doesn't mean you should be holding the breath. We're going for 5, 4, 3, 2, and return, and then come back down into that nice recovery just because it feels so good. Let's get as many of those in as we can. Okay, we're going to come into our VWs next. So there's 2 options for this. The first way you can do it is coming down to lying flat on your mat. Okay, so you're lying flat down on your belly, arms are extended and slightly out at an angle. That's your V. And then you're literally just lifting your shoulders, squeezing your elbows towards your spine to come into that W shape. So your feet are staying pinned to the floor, okay? It's literally just your chest that's lifting. If you're not comfortable, maybe you're breastfeeding, it's not nice to just be lying down on your stomach like that, you can come up onto your knees. In fact, I would come up onto a high knee situation, but you can't see me if I do that, so I'm going to do it like this. Same, VWs. Out extended, back in. If you're kneeling up, further apart, you bring your hips and your knees, the more you're going to be engaging that pelvic floor as well, okay? So go with which one works for you. I'll come back down. Let's do 3 more. 1 and 2 and 3. Pushing back up. You know what I'm going to say. Let's stretch those shoulders out. Come into our little recovery. The next thing we're going to be doing is coming over onto our side, okay? So just rolling across onto your side. Come down all the way onto your mat, okay? So you can pop your elbow underneath your head just to give a little bit of support, or if you've got a cushion, you can pop your cushion there. From this one, we're going to be coming into a top leg lift. But as we do that, I want you lifting your waist away from the mat, okay? And we're just holding. So it's just a static move. Looks like I'm lying down having a nice relax. But as soon as you start doing that, and notice the difference, okay? If I keep my waist pinned to the floor, all I'm doing is working the leg. If I lift my waist away from the mat, all of a sudden you should feel that that feels much harder, number 1, and that those abdominals are firing up. So hold it here. 3, 2, and 1. Relax everything back down. Take a breather. We're going for that again. If you're ready, you can go for it. So lift that waist away and then lift that leg up, or vice versa, but don't try and do both at the same time. Too confusing. Make sure those hips stay stacked. Okay, this top hip shouldn't be leaning forwards. So you're up, lift that waist. Look, I can literally slide a hand under there, or just about anyway. There's a bit of a gap. We're going for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That leg wants to drop, okay? You've got to really fight to keep that leg lifted. We're coming into our side planks next. So remember all your options that you've got to go from. First of all, you're going to come up onto your elbow. Make sure that it's underneath your shoulder. You're either going from your knees, lifting the hips, and coming back down. That's option number 1. So it's literally a little pulse. Option number 2, staying from the knees, lifting and holding. You can add in the arm if you want to. Option number 3, hardest yet, legs fully extended, up and away. So just go with which one works for you. Breathe. 3, 2, and 1. Coming back down. Good stuff. We're going to roll across onto the opposite side, okay? So I'm going to spin around this way. Get yourself comfortable. Use that arm as a pillow, as a cushion underneath. Legs on top of each other, lift waist away. Top leg, extend and hold. And you can either go with pointed toes here, or you can go with a flexed foot. But I really want you concentrating on lifting that waist away. Harder still, bring that support arm away, okay? Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Slowly relax everything back down. Don't just come crashing to the ground. Take a second. We're going again to lift the waist away, lift the leg up. Perhaps have that hand there to support initially, and then if you feel like you can lift it away. Hold it here. Second time around, we're really concentrating on not letting the leg drop or the waist drop. Hold it. 3, and 2, I know, and 1. Slowly coming back down, coming into your side planks on this side, okay? So get yourself into position and go with the option that works for you. I'm going to come onto my knees this time. Okay, it's a full body weight exercise, this one. So please don't worry if all you can manage is this. I promise that with consistency, you're going to go from this to this, and eventually to this. Maybe even, if you want to progress it further, you come all the way up into this one, okay? So many variations, but just build up what works for you. We're going for 4, and 3, 2, and 1. Slowly coming back down, you're rolling over onto your back next, okay? Let's give the legs a little stretch out. While we're here, just hug them into your chest for a moment, because it feels so nice. Okay, dropping those feet down. Just take a second to get comfortable on your mat, okay? So make sure that your hips are in line, you haven't got a tilt in your pelvis, and that your spine isn't necessarily imprinted down onto the mat. It should just be in a neutral position. Shoulders are down. We're going to come into some toe taps, okay? So loads of variations for you here. I'll run through them in order of progression. If you know what you're doing, you can just start going for it. Option 1, keep one foot on the ground, and you're literally bringing one knee up and then dropping that toe down. Okay, and then you can increase the intensity of this by dropping the toe further away. Go with what works for you. Option number 2 is that you bring both feet off the floor, and again, you increase the intensity by dropping further away, further away. Have those hands relaxed down by your side, but if you want to feel what's going on, bring them onto your belly. If you feel like there's any doming, pulling, just doesn't feel right, keep one foot on the floor and stay close, okay? If you're doing that option, you can switch sides now. If you're going with both legs, try taking them out on a side now, okay? Alternating and dropping them out at perhaps the corner of the room rather than straight ahead. Good, cool work this. You can use either your heel or your toes to drop down and touch the floor, whichever feels better for you. Just keep going. 3, and 2, and 1. Bring those knees back in towards your chest. Hug them here. You can rock slightly from side to side on your mat if you want to. Okay, extending those legs now. So straightening those legs out. Arms come up overhead, so you're lying in a really long line. Here now, we're going to come into those single leg lifts, arms to meet them. Okay, if you want to make this one harder, you could add some weights into your hand, or if you want to progress it more in terms of working the core, and you haven't got any lower back issues, then come into a double leg lift, much harder, okay? So go with the one again that works for you. Keep going there. Just checking how we're doing. Good. So either or. Control those legs on the way back down. That's where the muscles are really having to work, especially if you're using both legs. You've got to go slowly down, okay? We're going for 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Lovely stuff. Bring those knees back in. We're going to finish off with either some pelvic tilts. So there's really gradual little movements rocking that pelvis up and into your rib cage, or you might want to continue peeling up off your mat and come into your shoulder bridge. Either or. So you're either coming into a bridge and holding, or you're staying down with just those little pelvic tilts. Or you can do a combination, go with what works for you. If you're in your bridge, keep holding it. We're going for 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Slowly come down out of your bridge. We're going to come straight into our stretches. You're going to drop both knees down to one side of the room and bring your arms across. Oh, it feels so good. Onto the other, so you're like a Z. So hold it here. This is a lovely, lovely stretch. You can turn your neck and face the direction of your arms. Good stuff. And then when you're ready, you're going to come both back up to center, and you're going to drop in the opposite direction. So knees on one side, arms on the other. Hold it there. This should feel really nice and relaxing if you've not got a child scrambling over you at this point. If you have, maybe try this one again once they're in bed. Okay, coming back up. And you can either stay down on your mat now, if you're comfortable there, stay down, or you can roll onto your side, or if you're stronger, you can rock yourself back up. Okay, just gonna do, so if you're down on the mat, just bring your arms up overhead. Otherwise you're coming up to sitting, reaching across on one side, so you're stretching out those obliques. And then across on the other side. That should feel really good. Okay, linking your hands through together and then extending away from your back. You will have to sit up for this one if you're still lying down. Hold it here. Good stuff. And then finishing off with that lovely big round stretch, pulling the shoulder blades apart, opening up. Keep that belly button drawn in, drawn back towards the spine, but you can drop your chin down to your chest. Hold it here. 3, 2, and 1. Roll those shoulders up. When you're up and standing, if you want to stretch out those legs a little bit, then please do. But there we go. Nice, cool work. High five. Good work, team.
Thanks, Fee.